Place your bets. Of the 44 competitors registered at the beginning of the tournament, 14 remain, and at the end there will be only 2 to share the pie. $700,000 for the female winner, $3 million for the male. Some disparities still and always, but they are narrowing.
Obviously, both from the prize money point of view as well as the points. It's a ATP 500, and it's important, and it's a lot of points for the players to go to the next level. And same thing with the WTA. Every alternate year, this year it's a 500, and next year again we are back to a 1,000 event. So whenever it goes to 1,000, we equalize prize money. ATP and the WTA same as well.
One of the attractions of this tournament is Novak Djokovic. After his setbacks in Melbourne, the world number 1, who was not vaccinated and still wanted to compete in the Australian Open, can enjoy relaxed rules here.
There's no need a vaccination, but the only we need, or they make to ensure in the airport the PCR negative test, as well as coming to the site there's also antigen test as well. So we are always following whatever needs to be done within the ATP and WTA rules and regulations.
But in the past, some players have been denied access to the Dubai tournaments, Israelis in particular, some of whom were finally able to play behind closed doors to avoid possible outbursts. Today, things have changed.
A lot of players live, and they're like one of them, like Roger Federer, second house Dubai, and this week also Caroline Garcia, she said also she's moving to Dubai in November, so it's great to know that. And some others like Pablo, and then there's Eden Silva, many players. Ivan Lubicic used to live here, so many others as well, they live in Dubai. It's a great city for them. It's very central between East and West.
Novak Djokovic could win the Dubai tournament for the 6th time in his career, while the next generation is getting prepared.
Nice job on the BB.
Well, joining me now in the studio, Alec Pollard is our Middle East correspondent. He's also a bit of a tennis expert, I hear, Alex. So good to have you with us. So first of all, this is the first time, isn't it, Novak Djokovic has played in a tournament since the COVID fiasco in Australia.
Right, it is, and certainly a lot of anticipation to see how he will do after being out for so long. He's won his first 2 matches. He said he's very, very happy that he's competing. He's gotten pretty good support from the crowd as well. So certainly it's a big event to see that he's out there, he's playing, he's winning, and he's still in business. But there is a big question mark about what's going to happen with Novak Djokovic, because this, at the moment, may be one of the few tournaments he's actually allowed to play in because of his vaccination status. He's made it pretty clear he does not intend to get vaccinated, even if he's barred from playing in the top tournaments. So that's something to look forward to moving forward. As far as the tournament itself, this year, not as strong a draw as we've seen in previous years. Actually, a lot of the top players are playing in a parallel tournament in Acapulco, in Mexico. That one has Nadal and Medvedev and a lot of the other big stars. Roger Federer, 8-time champion in Dubai, is injured. He's not playing. So not as star-studded a field as we're used to in Dubai, but still a lot of top players, very strong tournament. Novak Djokovic will be the favorite, but it will be very entertaining, and he's going to have to get through some difficult opposition to make it through.
Well, talking of entertaining, we all know that women's tennis is just as great to watch as men's tennis, yet there is a huge discrepancy in the prize money. Why is that still in 2022?
Right, so the issue of the categorizations of tournaments is very complex. I will say that in Dubai, they have a very unique relationship with the tournament in Doha in Qatar, where they alternate, where 1 year Dubai is a 1,000-point tournament, and 1 year it's a 500-point tournament. And 1 year Doha is 1,000, and 1 year Doha is 500. So when the tournament is categorized as a higher-ranked tournament, you make more money, and that's why we saw in a previous year that the women's champion made more than the men because it was a 1,000-point tournament, while for the men it was a 500-point tournament. With that being said, it should be noted that this year it's a 500-point tournament for both sexes, and yet the men are making a lot more money in the tournaments that are under one rubric, meaning it's one tournament with different events for men and women, like the Grand Slams, Wimbledon, Australian Open. In some of the Masters tournaments, there the men and women make the same amount of money. Here, it's 2 separate events. The women, yes, they played at the same venue, but they finished already a week earlier, so their event is done. When it's 2 separate events, then they don't share the prize money, but they also don't share the revenue. And the revenue in those women's only events are still not as high as the men's events. And one of the reasons why we're seeing the discrepancy You can see there's a lot of things that play in here, also the ranking of the tournaments and so forth. But at the moment, this is the situation in Dubai.
Doesn't sound that fair to me. Who's going to win? Very quickly.
Novak Djokovic. I still think he's the best player, despite all of his difficulties and not being on the court and match fresh. I think he's going to win big time. He's hungry after what happened to him in Australia.
All right, you heard it here.